Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. And everyone, this is the Brits SPECIAL. Hey! And to mark the occasion, I thought I'd put on my colourful tie. I don't normally wear this, but you know, you would have seen in ancient videos from last year. And I thought today was pertinent to wear a nice tie because, just to give you the first bit of splash of news for you guys in the States, but England have just beaten Denmark 2-1, and now we are going to be in the finals against Italy, I believe, yeah, in Wimbledon, in Wembley. I think it's going to be happening in Wembley. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's where it is. And so that obviously is a sense of occasion for everyone. And my goodness, if we win, honestly, England is going to be celebrating for years. Yeah. So the last time we won, you know, something as significant as this would have been the World Cup in 1966. Yeah. And we managed to beat Germany as well on the way to the final as well, which is a huge thing as well. So commiserations to Germany, who got beat, but they've always been beating us for years. So, you know, here you are. Maybe the tides have turned. And as we know, there's been a lot going on in the world. There's been a lot going on in America. But of course, this is Hogarth's Global Astrology. And I am, as you know, from the UK. So it's nice, obviously, once in a while to have a little dip in to what's been going on here. Now, as you know, I've mentioned in videos before some of the things that I would like to talk about. And this is going to be a little bit of a whistle-stop tour, just to give everyone like a précis, a little update on everything that's going on. And I'm going to pull some cards as well. Now, one of the things that we need to talk about. Now, if you go... Most of you guys, of course, are in the United States, but there are people watching from the UK, Australia, and from the wider world. Now, as you know, there's all of the dramas going on with Duck L'Orange, yeah, and it's all about corruption, and it's all about, you know, money and this, that, and the other. Whereas in the UK, we don't have nearly quite as much money in politics over here as you guys do in the States, and maybe even in other places. But it doesn't mean there's nothing naughty kind of going on, because, you know, there is corruption in every country. Let's just face it. But it depends on to which scale. But one thing that certainly happens in UK politics, it can have a lot to do with scandals and affairs. Yeah. So we have a recent health minister, secretary for health, called Matt Hancock. Yeah. Maybe the name is a giveaway. Yeah. And he was caught having a somewhat scandalous affair, a tryst, an embrace. And we're talking a full-on snog-fest, passionate embrace underneath the camera, which he didn't realize had been turned from facing the window, apparently, which was like leading out onto a garden or something, which was considered maybe a bit of a security thing. So if anyone broke in, the camera was facing there. But it seemed someone turned the camera. And we've got, you know, we've got Hancock just grabbing a handful of ass at the same time. Oh man, I mean, this was proper stuff, proper stuff. And of course, it is emerged as a huge scandal, and he's now left his wife, yeah, for this lady who's called Gina Coladangelo. Yeah, Coladangelo. Sounds a bit Portuguese to me. She looks kind of like Portuguese, but anyway, what have you. And the thing is, it's like, okay, you might be thinking, look, this is this politician's private life. What's in their private life should stay private. And there are valid arguments for that. Absolutely. I really am a big believer in that. I don't know if you can hear the football revelers outside in the park. But there is a key point here. As you know, the UK, like many places and around the world, has been dealing with lockdown. And people like Matt Hancock make the rules for everyone. There was something similar, not in terms of an affair, but a certain person called Dominic Cummings, who many of you may have heard of, did this massive breach. And this was when it was a real red hot button topic. And this must have been maybe like March, April of last year, where it was proper lockdown. It was before it was lifted. So maybe it was like March last year, 2020. And he drove something like 160 miles or more up to this place in the Midlands when he shouldn't have been driving. And then he was spotted sort of like a couple of days later going to this castle. Now, I did do a video special between Boris Johnson and Dominic Cummings, which you can look back in my playlist, where I predicted correctly that Dominic Cummings would be sacked and he would try and take down the Prime Minister at the same time. But ultimately, Boris Johnson would hold on. And that seems to be what's happened. Anyway, Cummings said when he was driving to this particular castle, I forget the name of it now, maybe I'll have to drop it in the captions. He said he was testing his eyesight. Yeah, can you believe it? So obviously this went down like a cold cup of sick, yeah, in the UK. We were not impressed. And likewise, Mr. Hancock, yeah, he's, you know, Mr. Butt Grab, yeah, likewise has been saying at that time, no hugging, yeah, social distancing. You shouldn't be seeing partners. You shouldn't be embracing people. And, you know, you got to keep everything neat and tidy because, you know, we want to keep the numbers in the right place. And then he's like, yeah, all of that. So, of course, that did not go down well in the UK. And Boris, as usual, there was a bit of flicky-flacky. Now, bear in mind, like I'm just saying here, this is for entertainment purposes only. And but this is all stuff that is out in the public sphere anyway. I'm only telling you stuff that's already been splashed across the newspapers, yeah? And but basically, Boris didn't, like with Dominic Cummings, didn't sack him. Yeah, should have been out immediately. Yeah, out immediately. Anyway, so this guy, Hancock, retired about a day and a half later, yeah? Once all of the memes came out. Oh my God, can you imagine the memes? Oh man, people were just doing rip-off spin-offs of Shaggy's song, It Wasn't Me, yeah? The ridicule, yeah? That's what, in fact, this is something as well. Take a little tip, you guys in the States. And really, you need to up the ridicule on these ridiculous people that are getting up to all of this cra-cra. But anyway, I digress. So, let me have a little slurp. Matt Hancock resigned and Boris Johnson tried to make out that he pushed him, which is BS, yeah? Because I think, weirdly enough, I'm not saying Boris is a religious man, but we do know there is a famous tract from the Bible where Jesus said, "He who is without sin, let them throw the first stone." Yeah? Let's just put it this way. Boris has had so many occasions of sin, he can't pick up a stone and throw it at anyone. And I think this is why he finds it hard to sack people, because he just reflects and he just goes, well, I've done about 10 times worse in my career. But anyway, whatever, you know, he's the Prime Minister. And at the end of the day, he's what we've got for now. And that's that. And he's a character. And overall, people like Boris. And, you know, he's got charisma. And even though people have compared him to Trump, really, no, it's really not the same. It's really not the same comparison on orders of magnitude, not even close. And I think people have realized that now. So that's the Matt Hancock affair. So I'm gonna, oh my goodness, I've left my cards on the table. 1 second. Doody-doo, doo-doo. All right. So let's get out the old Rider-Waite, yeah? And I'm going to pull 5 cards for Matt Hancock to see what's going on. Oh, look what's at the bottom of the deck. Oh dear, yeah, bit of pain. And he's basically left his wife of how many years? And I think they've got 3 kids together. And, you know, he's one of these people that's saying, well, me and my kids, me and my family, and blah, 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 while he's there having a good old mooch and a bum grab of his, you know, assistants. Typical, complete hypocrisy. And there was actually one of the a newscaster over here for Sky News called Trevor Phillips, and he said it most poignantly. And I'm not necessarily saying Matt Hancock retired because he saw this, but it was certainly very poignant. And Trevor Phillips was saying, while Matt Hancock was telling everyone not to meet up, not to hug anyone, not to do this, not to do that, and he was embracing and canoodling with his assistant, he said, I buried my daughter yesterday, yeah? And I and maybe 1 or 2 others were the only ones that could be there because of this social distancing, and he's been, yeah, grabbing ass. And there was just something about that just cut through the whole BS of it all, yeah? And quite soon after that, Mr. Hancock made his resignation. I'm not necessarily saying the two are connected, but politicians, as we know, like to watch TV. And when you see that on Sky News, you would have to be made out of lead not to be affected by a juxtaposition like that. All right, so let's pull 5 cards for this naughty man. And you know what? I was listening to something on The Guardian today, and it was about Matt Hancock and why powerful men have affairs, particularly those in politics. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard this saying before, but it's certainly one that exists over here. Maybe it is actually originally American, and it's deeply unflattering, but you know what? These politicians, and they say politics is showbiz for ugly people. Yeah. I know that is damning. Now, does it mean that everyone that enters politics is unattractive? No, of course not. However, I will say this. If you are a man who maybe was at the back of the queue when God was dishing out looks, yeah? If you become powerful, yeah? If you become famous, if you become rich, then what happens, yeah? You start to attract, you know, the quality, not quality, no, that's not correct. Let's just say the opportunity for partners increases. And many of these men who probably never had a date at school, yeah, were absolute swats. Listen, look, Mancock. That's what he should be called. That's what he should be called, because obviously we know where he's been poking, you know, whatever. Anyway, but if you look at a picture of Matt Hancock, you know, he's not all that, really. You know, not that you have to be for politics, but for someone, you know, a chinless wonder like himself, you know, there is this option. The opportunities increase, and this is something that was being discussed on this podcast. On The Guardian, talking about why powerful men have affairs. There's also an aspect of insecurity as well. Now you think, security, but you know, surely they're secure because they're so powerful. But why are they seeking the power in the first place? Yeah. So it's a personality type. And also as well, when you live your life in the public eye, everything becomes amplified. Yeah, all the comments and stuff like that. They're human beings at the end of the day. And if they get slagged off in the press, you know, they're not going to feel good about it. And often they kind of, you know, they have affairs and they're spending a lot of time away from work. Now, I'm not saying this is a lot of time away from home. I'm not saying this is an excuse, not at all. But there is a pattern there. And also as well, sometimes it can be the power just goes to the head, and there is a sense of entitlement. And also as well, particularly what powerful men have discovered is that the opposite sex can often make much more advances towards them because of the money, the wealth, and the power. Yeah, a certain type of person that likes that sort of thing. Anyway, right, let's do a 5-card read here on Mr. Hancock. who has now had to leave his wife and probably the family unit behind. And apparently with Coladangelo's partner, I think he helped her pack the car, stuffed to the brim apparently, and he's a millionaire. You know, so there you are. So you see, it's not always necessarily about the money, or apparently he's a millionaire. Anyway, I need to verify that for myself. But anyway, here we go. So Matt Hancock, 5 cards for Matt Hancock. See what's going on. And then after I've done Matt Hancock, we're going to look at the Ministry of Defence. We're going to look at Brexit, and then we're going to look at Lilibet Diana's charts, yeah? And we'll take a little peek there. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into her chart because after all, she's not even 2 months old yet. And also as well, she's very young, but people are very curious about that. So I can just say some little things that I can see. Very interesting chart, very interesting chart. Quite a lot of spirituality there as well. All right, so what's the first card for Mr. Bumgrab? Oh, look. This is hilarious. This is just hilarious. All right, here we are. So, what's he feeling like now? Yeah? The Hanged Man. This guy, he's in a pickle. Look, the card is self-evident. We all know what this is about. This is a change of perspective. Yeah, the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is what? A scenario where things have literally what? Turned upside down. Yeah, his life has turned upside down, even though this card is the right way up. And we see here that he's got one leg free. So it suggests that this person got themselves into this situation. No one forced Matt Hancock to go out and have an affair. No one. That was his own choice. He employed this person by hand. Well, maybe not by hand, but you know what I mean. She was selected. Oh my God. The innuendos. This video is going to be strict. Anyway, whatever. For entertainment purposes only. And so here we see a person who has got themselves into a bit of a pickle. Now, for you guys are thinking, what do you mean by a bit of a pickle? Think of a pickle jar, yeah? Stuffed in, tight place, yeah? So he's had to gain a new perspective on things, because when we're upside down, we see the world in a different space. So that is the context. And what is it about? Look at that. The Lovers. Literally the Lovers, yeah? So what is this card about? It talks about contracts here. It talks about contracts. It talks about commitments. It talks about relationships. Could even refer to marriage as well, just like the Two of Cups. Yeah, so this is the obstacle, yeah? The obstacle to this is what? Matt Hancock's marriage, yeah? And also as well with Gina Coladangelo, she's married too. Now, both of them obviously are not going to be married for that long. I'm sure the divorce papers have probably landed on the front mat right now, yeah? So we can see the context here, quite literally. There it is, the Lovers. This is what's going on. Now, if we look here, the next card, we have got the Knight of Pentacles reversed, yeah? The Knight of Pentacles reversed. So we know what is the Knight when it's the right way up. It's the loyal foot soldier. Yeah, so you can almost imagine like this represents Matt Hancock's sort of his, let's just say that this is his political career. Yeah, his political career, being a loyal subject, you know, to the government, to Boris Johnson. Yeah, but this card was reversed, and Boris has actually referred to Matt Hancock, and really he should have retired probably after hearing this. But before the affair broke, apparently on a WhatsApp group, Boris Johnson described his handling of COVID and all the situation around it as effing hopeless. Ouch! Yeah, that is painful. So here we are. This is a slow moving card, but we see now it's even slower. So this is obviously going to affect his career, his money, his income, yeah? his outgoings are probably going to significantly increase because of what? Yeah, he's going to have to pay some kind of, support for his children. The wife is most likely to divorce him. She could get half of the house or whatever issues, but there is a reversal in the assets here. This is a slow and steady card. So when it's the right way up, it's always a good sign in terms of your financial prospects, because it speaks about stability, slowly but surely, making one's way forward with determination and diligence. When it's reversed, of course, this is, it's a reversal essentially of those things. Not always, but we can take this quite literally. So there's going to be a reversal in his finances because he's no longer the loyal soldier, because he's had to resign the government, and he's going to have to deal with all of these repercussions. Much has come out, of the woodwork. This was a secret affair. But someone changed the camera position and all was revealed. So of course this the moon is about illusions, deceptions, things coming out of the dark. If you look here, there's a lobster coming out of the water, and there is a wolf and a dog howling at the moon. So this is also very it's a card that can also speak of people's mental states. So he's probably having really kind of like a tough and emotional time. The moon is always about emotions. And then we see as the outcome card, we see the Seven of Pentacles reversed. Now, if it's the right way up, this is actually looking at an investment, return on one's investment. You can see the guy's very much gazing at these coins. He's sowed the seeds and he's waiting to see what comes. Sometimes people refer to this card when it's in this position as being almost kind of discontentment in a way, but it's not a discontented look. This is someone who's sown seeds, and they're reaping the rewards, but it's reversed. So what we got here for Matt Hancock is a bitter harvest, He's sown these seeds of his own downfall and ruin. And now he's having to contemplate this from a new position. So basically, he brought it on himself. There we are. So that's Matt Hancock. Oh my goodness. And it's been so salacious over here. You just would not believe. Okay, now I'm going to give you a little tidbit here. I'm not necessarily going to read on this, but I'm going to give you a little tidbit. And basically there was a story over here in the UK where the MOD, the Ministry of Defence, a senior civil servant, left printed classified documents by a bus stop in Kent. I mean, what is that all about? Obviously, you can imagine there was a huge hoo-ha because people were just like, these are classified documents, and B, they shouldn't even be leaving the building, let alone being left in, on Kent, public transport next to a bus stop. I mean, it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And pardon me, apparently it was a senior civil servant. Look at that. Look at the card that I've just got there at the bottom, Someone taking something, trying to get away with something. This can be very much a card of espionage, because what were the documents pertaining to? The boat, the British boat, our new bomber kind of boat, going through the Crimean Sea, which was taken by Russia. And this is often the card for Russia. It's the only one that's where the guy's wearing a sort of Russian style hat. How interesting is that? And then we look here. Sword of Truth coming out about that. And look, we got a bit of old judgment as well. Oh dear, whoops, because someone was foolish. But anyway, it looks like things will be all right in the end and things will rejuvenate. But isn't that interesting? I wasn't planning to do a read, but I just literally saw after shuffling the cards at the bottom of the deck and they spoke. So that's the scenario with the Ministry of Defence in the UK. Some senior civil servant leaving top secret documents by a bus stop. Honestly, these people are muppets. Anyway, so before we get on to Lilibet's chart, see how we're doing on time. I look at that, the time's gone so quick already. Anyway, before we do Lilibet's chart, Let's do a little read on Brexit. Yeah. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you is this: if England wins wins the championship against Italy, yeah, tough competition, but I think they can do it. I'm going to say 3-2. You know, if I'm wrong, whatever. But I'm going to say 3-2 win for England. Let's see. Basically, people are going to be like, well, that made Brexit worth it. I bet you any money. I bet you any money. People are going to be like, we're free. You know, we may not necessarily say that in the public, but, you know, that's the kind of mentality I can see happening there. So let's look at Brexit. Let's see what's going on. Many mixed results. Of course, the talk of the virus has just shrouded everything, you know, so even if there's bad news, it can be easily hidden, because what do? You just talk about the virus. All right, so let's have a little pull here. Now I'm going to pull 5 cards of Brexit. What's really going on with Brexit? What's in the future? Now, the UK's new chart, because we left the EU on the 31st of January at 11 p.m. our time, 12 a.m. Central European time, yeah? So that was the stroke of midnight, and it being, you know, then that will go into like the 1st of February, what have you. So when I look at the chart for that, it's actually quite good. Overall, it's actually quite good. I've studied the chart and it was pretty good. But let's see what's happening in regards to Brexit and the immediate future. Let's see. And it could be bearing fruit already, because the UK's new chart has a Virgo ascendant sidereally, which is technically Libra, which is actually ends up being the same ascendant for the chart I was looking at originally before Brexit. It just happens to be the same ascendant. And but what's interesting, of course, is that the planets have moved since then. And with the new UK chart, we've got Saturn in the 5th house in Capricorn in his own sign with the Sun. Now, that's not always necessarily the best combination, but the 5th house deals with sport, yeah? Giving consultations and advice to others. And the Sun here, the 5th house, with the Sun here, that can also refer to the new kingdom. So it could mean there could be a lot of creativity coming up. But this is very interesting. All right, here we go. Quite a lot of reversals here. So first off, signifier card, yeah? King of Wands. King of Wands, but it's reversed. When the king is the right way up, this is an entrepreneurial man, yeah? This is a man who is a businessman, a trader, yeah? Think about what the UK is known for, our trade with the globe, yeah? But it's reversed, yeah? People are no longer looking at the UK as the best place to do business. Ooh, ooh. When we look at the next card, what comes up? We have got the 5 of Cups reversed. Now, if we look here, 2 of the Cups are left standing, but the guy is in a state of remorse, yeah? But it's reversed. So what this could suggest is, after an initial phase, yeah, of losses and all of that kind of stuff, but there's a reflection, an internal reflection of these losses. And I think collectively people are going to look at the 2 cups that are still standing. Now, the UK is supposed to be going around making all these deals with the rest of the world, but we have made a deal with Australia recently. And I think another place, Liechtenstein or something like that. I mean, that's really going to add to the GDP, isn't it? It's about the size of London, Liechtenstein. But anyway, not to be bad to Liechtenstein, but you know what I mean, like, how much trade is that going to be in comparison with Europe? So there is this element here of these cups turned over. Many people, of course, were sad about Brexit, yeah? Many people felt like this about Brexit, but it's the other way around. So this suggests maybe a recovery of those things, maybe an acceptance, yeah, of the outcome. What was it all about? It was all about what? Partnerships, yeah? So I was just talking about this card before in regards to Matt Hancock, who literally got the Lovers, which is about making big choices. This literally is marriage, partnerships, trade, deals, yeah? But it's reversed. Those trade deals, yeah, what's happening? Like, we're not so easy to trade with anymore, and our European partners in particular are not so pleased about that. I mean, it was just something that they didn't want us to leave. But what did we do? We left, yeah? So if this is marriage, this is divorce. Yeah, quite literally. You can look at it that way. And what was it about? It was about what? Money, yeah? Sovereignty. Yeah, this is how it was presented to the British people. Yeah, it was presented to the British people. We'll be sovereign, we'll be independent, we'll be a mistress of our own fortunes. Britannia, rule the waves. Yeah, we'll be rich. Yeah, we'll have money coming out of our eyeballs. But it was reversed. Yeah, so this here, this is more the sneaky side of this card. Yeah, this is more the sneaky side. This can speak to the disingenuous arguments that were made about the prospects of the UK's wealth, because it's not like it's been rolling in the coffers. Yeah, we've been outgoings. Yeah, we've had the pandemic, we've had furlough. There's been a lot of money that's had to be paid to sustain people's living standards, which is quite right. No one's complaining about furlough, but where's the money gonna come in from? Yeah, we were told we would have tons and tons of, I mean, I knew it was all BS anyway. I wanted to remain, I knew it was all BS. Yeah, but what I think will emerge over time will be the truth, yeah, of this situation, where we really find out how the money is. Now, in the long term, I think we can turn this around, yeah, because upside down reverse cards, they can all be turned around if one takes the right actions. Yeah, so if we start getting some good trade deals going, yeah, with the rest of the world, then maybe Britannia becomes a wealthy mistress once more. But it will depend on what? If we look here, the Hierophant, yeah, the government, it depends on the government decisions. Now, does it mean that we reverse our decision in regards to leaving the EU in the first place? Yeah, when we look at that marriage, yeah, we had the divorce. Are we going to reverse our perspective on that marriage in order for us to have what? Wealth, yeah? Who knows? But it's up to the government, yeah? The government's not going to be able to hide, and it's going to have to do something significant to turn this situation around. So that would either be the case of that we make good deals that supplement, yeah, for what we lost, or we reverse, or like this divorce scenario, or we reverse that divorce and we end up going back in. But would we have wealth on the same terms? Probably unlikely, yeah? So there's much to look at. So if we just think, of course, you know, like I said, we had the wands, yeah? The King of Wands, but reversed, you know, the businessman. We had the sadness, that was reversed. But then we have the outcome card here, the Hierophant. So it's up to the government now what choices they make, but they need to look at the money, because the partnerships, remember the two cards reverse, it's partnerships and money not looking great. So we will have to see what choices the government makes. Okay, now let's have a little chat about Lilibet. Yeah, Lilibet Diana Mountbatten-Windsor. Yeah, wow, that is a mouthful for a name. Now, what I did now, I don't want to go into too much detail here, and it's only because people have requested and they want to know, because at the end of the day, we're dealing with a very, very young child. This child is barely, you know, is not even 2 months old yet. But this is her chart here. Now, I want to tell you some key things about this little lady, yeah? First of all, there are no guarantees, but let's just say this little girl is going to be a leader. Do you know why? Because her ascendant sidereally, now she was born in Santa Barbara, that Santa Barbara Hospital Cottage, something like that, in California. She was born at 11:20 a.m. Great time to be born, close to midday. Means the sun is quite likely to be in the 10th house of career. Yeah, means a bright career. And she was born on the 4th of June 2021. Yeah. So she's only a month old. She's not even 2 months. She's just become 1 month old. And if we look here, this is, let's see, where's the ascendant? There's the ascendant. Here's her ascendant here. Yeah. That's the sign that was rising on the eastern horizon at the time that she was born. What's the ascendant? Remember, it deals with the top of the head, the physical body, the constitution, the personality, yeah, innate inspirations, appearance, character, and birth into this world. So she's going to be a bit of a stunner. Yeah, she's likely. I mean, it's easy. You know, Meghan is hardly fish soup, really, is she? She's hardly a dog's breakfast. But this does indicate that there will be a radiance to her. I can say the very least at that, there will be a radiance to her because this is Leo. And Leo is one of the royal signs, along with Cancer and along with the sign of Sagittarius. So look, there we are, a royal child. Even though she's not technically a princess, whatever, she's royal, yeah? When your great-grandmother is the queen, you're royal. But what is even more interesting, you'll see here, where have I put it? Here. You see that star? I've drawn in a little star. That star is called Regulus. And Regulus is in the constellation of Leo, but not only in the constellation of Leo, it's in the heart of the lion. This is the star of kings. Yeah, kings or queens, yeah? So we know we're dealing already, just on this placement alone, we know we're dealing with a leader, yeah? And Regulus is a very powerful star. It's a very auspicious star, yeah? And it confers a lot of leadership skills, royalty. It's also in the nakshatra, which is called Magha, which is about what? The throne and the ancestors. Royal ancestors. Who's her immediate ancestor? Diana, who's a princess. Who is her great-grandmother? The Queen, yeah? So she's literally continuing that royal lineage, yeah? And so there's that aspect. What I want to look at as well is the 10th house. If we look here, so if we count from the ascendant, so if we count this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So what's the 10th house? Does the public duties, career, presidents, reputation, bosses, fame, father's wealth. Yeah. Harry's got a little bit put away, hasn't he? Honors, vocation, purpose, status, government, authority figures, highest achievements. And it is an angular house, an upachaya house, and the sun loves being here in the 10th. So already, that's already auspicious. But there is more. We see Rahu is here, which is technically an eclipse, because remember, we've been having, the eclipse seasons happen in sidereal Taurus and sidereal Scorpio. So there is a little bit of an eclipse there. So she may be shy and not so confident in herself in her earlier years, but eventually that eclipse lifts. Also as well, Rahu deals with fame. So she's already going to be famous. Yeah, we already know that. So there it is. But when Rahu and when the sun are in the 10th house, this can also deal with politics. Yeah, can deal with politics or some kind of public service, some kind of... The 10th house is the highest house, so she will have some kind of what? Public recognition, virtually guaranteed. And there, of course, as well, is Mercury. Yeah, and Mercury does well in the sign of Taurus, and it's having what is called a Parivartana yoga exchange between it and his best friend, Venus. Yeah, because Mercury is in the sign of Taurus, which belongs to Venus, and Venus is in Gemini, which belongs to Mercury. Yeah, so that's a Paravatana yoga, and it's happening in her 10th house and her 11th house. The 11th house is a house of great gains. So she will have significant gains from her career and her public stance. And she's going to be extremely articulate, and she's going to have beautiful friends because Venus is the planet of beauty. And she'll have a lot of female friends in particular, and she's going to be a great conversationalist. She's going to be excellent at conversation. And Gemini is a sign of communication, but her Venus is in the nakshatra of Ardra, which means what? Storms. So let me just see. Oh, there we are. Let me just get her chart open here, the electronic version. Yes. So her Venus is in Ardra. And Venus is women, yeah? If she has a sister, that could reflect that energy as well. But it could also speak about the aunt as well. The aunt could potentially cause some problems here. Ardra is a tumultuous nakshatra, yeah? So the symbol is the teardrop, and it deals with storms. Yeah, so there's that. One thing that stands out to me as well, she's got Saturn in the 6th house with Pluto. Now, Saturn, as we know, is balloon popper. When he's in the 6th house, he actually does very well. Shows a lot of discipline. But it shows that there could be some kind of transformation because Pluto's there in regards to the health. And she may end up even campaigning on things like health and stuff like that. Particularly mental health. And why do I say that? Because if we look at the moon, yeah, the moon is here. It's in Pisces, yeah? Excellent place for the moon. And it also means what? The mother has compassion, yeah? The mother has compassion. But for Lilibet, it's at 18 degrees, 22 minutes. Now, 18 degrees can actually be quite a difficult degree, but it's in the 8th house. Moon in the 8th house. And we know the 8th house is the house of what? Sex, death, and rock and roll. And the moon represents the mind along with the emotions and with the mother. So what this suggests is that it's very spiritual. She's going to be very spiritual, and she's going to be very interested in metaphysics, yeah, of all kinds, even astrology perhaps. And she may learn this from what? Her mother. I suspect Meghan is very spiritual in her own way as well. But the 8th house can deal with traumas, can deal with difficulties, and can deal with addictions. And Chiron is here. So it suggests there's a kind of a wound there, or potential wound in regards to the mother, or maybe even the mind, yeah? Or things to do with alcohol, or, you know, things like that. Because we know Harry likes a little tipple. But what this could mean as well is that she's very spiritual at the very least. So let's hope she manifests the positive energies of that position. She also has a psychic trine in her chart because she's got a planet in the 4th house in Scorpio. She's got a planet in the 8th house in Pisces, yeah, the moon. So she's got Ketu, which is very spiritual, in the 4th house. She's got the moon, which is very, in the 8th house, and then Mars in the 12th house. So that is called a psychic trine, and they're all in water. She's going to be extremely intuitive. Very, very intuitive girl. Very talented, and may well have a gift for music as well. She may well have a gift for music, particularly with the Leo Ascendant as well. And not only that, because she's got the Sun, Mercury, and Rahu in Taurus, Taurus deals a lot as well with the face, being well known for the face, the mouth, speech, and singing in particular. So she could have a beautiful voice. If she doesn't go into politics, she can certainly make a fabulous actress or some kind of performer. Yeah, particularly because she's got Saturn in the 6th house, which gives discipline. Yeah, she's got the discipline to do those kind of things. Another little thing here as well, she's got Ketu in the 4th house, and Ketu is like a little hole. Yeah, so it's there in the 4th chakra, and the 4th house deals with homeland. Yeah, so she may not feel that she has, at times in her life, she may not know where her true home is. Yeah, makes sense. Born in America, but she's also British. She'll maybe possibly spend quite a bit of time toing and froing across the Atlantic, but may not feel 100% comfortable in both places, or she may not feel comfortable in either California, America, or she may not feel comfortable in England. Yeah, it could be that she feels comfortable in one or other countries. It's unlikely to be both. Yeah, but it also shows as well there were circumstances around her origins and homeland, and in a way we could say she's not been fully accepted in the UK, because certain things, blessings may not have been conferred upon her. But you know what, it will work out in the end. So just to kind of recap, again, I could look at more things, but I'm just going to keep it there because I don't want to go too deep, particularly in a person in such a fresh soul on earth. Yeah, she's only just over a month old, but that stuff that I can look at, we can look at that in the future as she matures, as she gets older. But one thing is, she will be a person of significance, of influence, likely to be a beauty, and will be very talented and intuitive, and she would make a superb actor. She really would. Or a politician. She would make an excellent politician, and it could well be the case. Who knows? I mean, I think it's quite likely. I'm sure Meghan is going to kind of push her daughter towards politics, because technically she could be president of the United States. Yeah, she was born in America. She could even, if something utterly ridiculous were to happen and the people in front of her in line of the throne were not there for whatever reason, not wishing that at all, but it is within the realms of possibility, highly unlikely, but within the realms of possibility, that she could be president of the United States and queen. Now, this would never happen. Yeah, it would take something utterly stupendous for that to happen, but it is technically possible. She would obviously have to win a US election and stuff like that, and that wouldn't manifest for many, many, many years. But anyway, there we are. So I just thought I would share those bits about Lilibet. She is a character, yeah, but she will face some of her struggles in life. Anytime there's a planet in the 8th house, there will be things around that, but that moon is strong. It's probably more likely to manifest itself in a spiritual way, particularly as Pisces is such a gentle and spiritual sign. Or she could do charity work on behalf of others less fortunate than herself, because we know Harry and Meghan are into their charity, and I'm sure they're gonna imbibe that in their daughter. And as well, when we think of Diana as well, there is a Diana energy here as well, just to finish off, because even though her Mars is technically debilitated in the 12th house in the sign of Cancer, this is I think there's a similar placement in Diana's chart, but I need to look at that. But she's got a lot of compassion. So very much that if we think in terms of Marga, the nakshatra of Marga, which is the lineage of our ancestors, that Diana energy will come through. Right. I'm going to stop it there. That's my Brits special for now. Just so you know, everyone, as well, I am looking at producing courses, and I think I'll produce them on my channel. So if people become members, and I'll get everything, once everything's set up, then of course you will be getting the courses there, and you'll be learning about Vedic astrology, and then I'll think maybe about the general public in the future. But really, I want to reward my subscribers with that knowledge, and we can learn, you can learn with me how to read charts, how it kind of works, what the planets represent, etc. And of course, have you seen me demonstrate on my channel, but you'll be learning for yourself, and it will just be a membership. Yeah, just be a membership. So if you would like a consultation with me, then of course feel free to visit my website at thearchetypalblueprint.com. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and to share. Thank you so much for my existing subscribers, and thank you so much for all my new subscribers. Oh my goodness, it's just, the channel is growing. So I want to say thank you very much, and thank you as well to everyone for tuning in when I was hosting Marie's table. So I think I'm doing the same again this Saturday. Hopefully Marie will come in, but when she's ready, she'll just take it back. Yeah, when she's ready, when she's got her internet up and everything like that, it will always be her show. Just in case you were worried, folks. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you very much. And until the next time, I've got to get this edited and up. You're probably going to see it. Oh, we'll see. We'll see if I can get this done quickly. Anyway, but you'll see it in the next 24 hours. Let's put it that way. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. And see you on the next one.